It's been 40 years now since we all learned the dance and filed into the West Gym to pomp and circumstance. Most of us couldn't wait to leave to move on to bigger things. We've never been ones to be afraid to see what the future brings. Ron carried on the family trade and has for all his life. Andy simply couldn't wait to make Cheryl his wife. Jim and Debbie wed Jerry and Darcy too, and Sharon Esselman. While Riddy and Kip and Dave Weir agreed a younger woman was for them. Julie Irvin married her best friend and moved away. Vicky Hill had a little boy who carried on his daddy's name. McGee and Elick wore navy blue, but they're still black and gold through and through. And so are Patty, Janice, Chris, and Trish, who led the cheers for our old school. Gilmore took his art out west. Gary Brown's our resident rocket scientist. And for the life of me, I can't think of anything else that sounds so cool. Some of us would go straight to work, some to school, and some to serve. Some of us would do just fine until life threw us a curve. Some of us would rise above, and some would learn to take our licks. But all of us are a part of the class of 1976. One Kevin is a surgeon now, and the other one is the guy all us other guys wanted to be. One Mark is an executive, and another shares God's word, teaching people how they can be free. Darla is an OR nurse I hope I never have to see at work. But if I do, I know that I'll be glad that she is there. Mark Cyril's beat the cancer cells, and Bob Copeland can still run like hell. And they are all a part of all the memories we share. Would you please thank our Louise, who holds us all so dear? If not for all of her hard work, we would not be here. And in these troubled times, when good things never seem to last, Gary Thompson's been my best friend since Mrs. Wilson's first grade class. Some of us would go straight to work, some to school, and some to serve. Some of us would do just fine until life threw us a curve. Some of us would rise above, and some would learn to take our licks. But all of us are a part of the class of 1976. My young days were filled with play, family and friends galore. Sunday morning Bible class with Brinkman, Janssen, Bourne. And now that it's been 40 years, I guess I just wanted to say that I am thankful I knew you all way back then, and for who you are today. Now Steve Byrd rocks the bass guitar, and Bill Purcell can build you one hot car. Mike Kelly will listen to you for a while, and Gloria can help you maintain that smile. Sitting in Humanities back in the day, cutting up with Lander, Laws, Jagir, and May. Dave Sheets was my old neighbor pal, and Susie Fuller still one terrific gal. Joe Green makes his living on 18 wheels, driving across the country, man, oh what a deal. Rick Richmond will get that contract signed, and Joe Pell can add it all up on the bottom line. Back in junior high, Tim Bettis and me, watching Sammy Terry, who was so scary. Daryl Palmer is retired now from the state, and Vaughn and Humbert can sure still play. Mike Naylor, Chris Hermes, Brenda Reed, Susie Biddle, Mike Pointer, Brad Totten, Ginger Bleak, Kim Kaiser, Kathy Cook, Julie Wood, Rita Vargo, Mike Fulcher, Judy Brooks, Keith Woods, Joe Del Jarbo, Carolyn Cox, Linda Canetzi, Joe Donna Hawkins, Connie Pinkerton, Dan Richardson, and Mark McClanahan. Remember Jan and Jill, Laurel and Marcia, when we first met them, we couldn't tell them apart. Larry and Marvin managing the team, and Cindy Vetters was the smartest girl I'd ever seen. Kelly, Bradley, Kim, Martin, Chris King, Jim Venable, Darlene, Denny, Cindy Barnes, Tina Stess, and John Cole, Tom Coombs, Richard Sterrett, Wayne Justice, Deanne Burkhart, Greg Walker, Debbie Pound, Sandy Wilson, Carol Richard, Bob Von der Sar, Jim Bridenstine, Dan Selmeyer, Tim McInnes, Jim Clements, Cindy Roseboom, Andrea Zing. Now Sid built herself a new house on the beach way down south where the Indiana winters can't reach. Neely Bennett and Lore work insurance and health care, while Rhonda's whole career has been up in the air. Wish I was sitting at the fountain at the CND, asking Gail to make a cherry lemon Coke for me. Catch her on the Nellie Wheeler summer baseball game, and somehow Bev and Joetta both still look the same. Bob Shunk, Amy Wright, Mark White is Brian White, Cindy Farr, Cliff Harp, Rodney Poole, Brian Sparks, Beth Sumners, Amy Morphew, Gary Jones, Roxy Haggard, Wayne Spencer, Kim Morton, Sharon Doan, Kathy Foster, Alan Pruitt, Karen Latham, Dave Sherman, Darla Nelson, Gary Grider, Daryl Pritchett, Brenda Bison, David Wilson, Daryl McDonald, Terry LaFevers, Bob McDaniel, and Bob Henderson. I think of every one of you now and then. So here's to the school that made us, on which all our hopes were hung. To the pizza, burgers, and milk breaks that kept us strong when we were young. To building the float at Cindy Cole's and Annette's homecoming kiss. They were all now memories by 1976. I've heard people say they wouldn't change a thing, but speaking just for me, there's so much I'd do different given the opportunity. I wish all of us could have been there, ready for a fight, to protect the life of our sweet Jane and the kids with her that night. I'd been a better friend to Richard and kept Bill out of that car, told Wayne Emberson to slow down and to take care of his heart. I'd have prayed harder for Tony and for a cure for her disease, for Cindy, Rover, Rusty, Joyce, and Eddie, Donnie Barnes, Brian Smith, and Dora Reeves. Oh, the loss of Mike, Cheryl, and Joanna hit us all like a ton of bricks. They are all now angels from the class of '76. Some of us would go straight to work, some to school and some to serve. Now some of us know we've been blessed in life far much more than we deserve. Some of us carry brokenness that only God can fix, but all of us stood up as one in 1976. Has it really been 40 years now since we all left the dance and filed out of the West Gym to pomp and circumstance? Well, it may be proof that old Father Time is still up to his old tricks. But I am of the mind we've all aged like a fine wine. Vintage 1976.